Got it.
Hello everyone. Here I'm Principal Kaur from UL Education, and this is the official channel of UL Education. Welcome to all here. Hope all are doing well. Okay, so today we are going to talk about diagram, and many students are facing it difficult, and we can say for many student diagram is very difficult as it involves the scientific language, and many science students or medical students find it quite easy because they have done it already. So today I'm going to tell about the methods how we can understand the diagram given in the exam. So this is task 1 for the Ielts. I hope you are able to see on the screen. Just a minute. Today we are going to do task 1, that is the diagram natural process life cycle of frog. There are many stages in the life cycle. First of all, how you come to know about the process, that it is a natural process or a man-made process. If it is industrial process, that means when anything get, we can say, formed or manufactured, that is a industrial process, we can say man-made process. But when it comes to any animal or bird plants, then it is a natural process. That means what are biotic and abiotic factors which include in the environment, and plants and animal flora and fauna are the natural things. So this process is a natural process because it shows the life cycle of a particular animal. That means life cycle of frog. Frog is an animal, or we can say it is an amphibian. That means it can live both on land as well as on the earth. So that's why it is called amphibian. So you can use vocab for this. One synonym for this is amphibian or a toad. You can use both words for this. For, we can say, frog. I think you are able to see on the screen the life cycle of a frog. In this diagram, we can clearly see the arrows. Arrows which shows from adult frog, and the final or initial stage is not given here. So you can start from anywhere, but it is more appropriate when we start from eggs. You know that reproduction is a process by, we can say, new organism or offsprings can be formed. By reproduction only the species can continue. So the reproductive things, that means organs, are more important, how they give rise to new individual. So the first, we can say, stage is an adult frog, from which the eggs are there. Then embryonic stage is, we can say, described here, and it is given external gills for breathing, tail keeps on growing, hind legs appear, lips from food stored in the tail, front legs appear, tail becomes shorter, young frog and the adult frog. So we can start a process from eggs, because it is a one cell stage, we can say, from where many cells emerge to make the body of the organism. So the first stage of this cycle is eggs. And from the eggs, it becomes embryo. And the tadpoles. What does it mean here? Tadpole is the name of larva. As frogs do not make the same individual as it is, it involves many stages of development. And first of all, the larva grows, emerges, we can say. Then, by slow process, it will come to the young frog that is exactly same as the adult frog. So, at the first place, adult frog lay the eggs in the water. It is not given, although I think you all know that frogs basically we can see in the season like in the June and July in our fields. Those who belong to farmers family, they know very well. Adult frogs can be seen in the water as well as on the lands, but it we can see lay out the eggs only in the water. We can find the eggs in only water. So eggs are present in the water, and in the water itself it become embryo. What embryo is? Embryo is the growth, we can say, the next form of the eggs. Eggs are the first cell, and when the cell become more, cell division occur, and after that embryo got formed. You do not have to mention what the embryo is. You just have to write the embryo. After the eggs, the embryo will form, and it will grows to the tadpoles. And the tadpole grows from the embryo and stick to the plants under the water for their protection. And after this stage, tadpole stage, external gills for breathing. That the aquatic animals have gills for breathing, and the terrestrial, which are living on the land, have lungs for breathing. So this stage occur in the water. So they have to breathe in the water. So that's why external gills appear for breathing. At the next place, tail keeps on growing. The larva has a tail. We can say larva is tadpole and a tail is present in them. I think we can basically see in the water when we are growing paddy, the season of paddy, then we can easily we can easily see this form of tadpole in the water. It looks like fish because it has a tail. Then after this stage, the next form appears which has hind legs. Hind legs and front legs, we can mention limbs because limbs and legs or arms, limbs, we can mention for legs and arm. So we can also write that limbs appears and tails become shorter by the time, and at last the tail become more shorter, and the organism which is growing here can take their nourishment from the tail, and the tail we can say is the place where the nutrition gets stored in the tail, and then tail become disappeared at the end, and the young frog emerges from that. It can, we can say, go to the land also because the body is prepared for breathing over there, and the young frog basically grow in size and become the adult frog with the time. This is all about the process. And so this is the planning how we are going to write this. First of all, you have to write the introduction for this. How to write the introduction for task 1? Basically, this is the diagram. We have to write the type of chart given to us. This is not any chart, this is a diagram. So we will write we are going to write as the diagram shows the life cycle of frog from the embryo to the to the you can say adult frog to the adult frog in various stages. Stages or phases we can write. Various stages and phases. Or phases. We can write or. You can also write stages. You can also write phases. So this is our introduction, or you can expand it more by using different words. Like this diagram shows a natural process. You can also write the natural process of life cycle of the frog from the embryo to the adult frog. Stages of development भी लिख सकते हो. To the adult frog in various stages. And you can also write the diagram shows the life cycle or the development process from the embryo to the adult frog. And you can also write the steps here. How many steps you can see in the diagram? Like this is a 10-step process. This is a 8-step process. You can count the number of stages, and you can also write that in the introduction. So there is no overall in this. You can write at the last stage in the BP3. In the BP2, you are going to describe what you can see in this diagram. For example, I'm not gonna write it today because you will try it by your own. So first of all, the adult frog lay the eggs in the water, or you can start it with the initially in the first stage. This you can write the process begins with, the process commence with. This phrase you can use, and after this you will write adult frog lay eggs or mass of eggs. There is not one egg. We can also say mass of eggs, number of eggs in the water, and these eggs become embryo in few days. After that, after this stage, the tadpole emerges from the eggs, or we can say embryo, because we included the embryo stage here. So the mass of eggs laid by the adult frog in the water, and it start developing into the embryo, and after embryo it becomes tadpole, which we can say are living, which shelter under the water for their protection, and they, or you can also say that they live under the water. By the time what happens, external gills for breathing are produced, you can say. And that we can also describe the tadpole here. Tadpole is a structure which has a short tail with them and a small body is there. You can also mention it. And then external gills for breathing, because they have to breathe dissolved oxygen. So they need external gills, and this external gills start producing, and then are produced, and there is a formation of external gills that you can mention, because this is life cycle is followed by every frog. So you can write it in the present tense also. External gills start forming, and the formation of external gills takes place. And after this stage, the tails keep on growing, and we can also write the tail become enlarged. That word you can write for growing. tail become enlarged, and after few days, the hind legs, and we can say the next stage, at the next stage, hind legs appears. That means the back legs start appearing. Here you can write start appearing. Then the tail is having a reserve food material, or you can say the place for reserve food material is tail. The frog in their development phase use that food for nourishment, and we can say food is stored in the tail that is used by the developing frog, developing tadpole, developing amphibian, you can say developing toad, you can write anything here. Then after some time, front legs appears. You can say the formation of front legs takes place, and the tail becomes shorter by the passing time, you can write. And at the end, in the third paragraph, you will write at the final stage, eventually, you can use at the final stage, the tail disappears and the young frog enlarged in the size and got a significant increase in the size and become adult. And the time is not mentioned, and you can say after some time. Time is not mentioned here. You will only write the information which is present in this diagram. I think you are able to write this. And at the first place, I'm going to start this so you can see how to write. Diagram show the life cycle of frog from the embryo to the adult frog in various stages or phases. Initially, adult frog lay out eggs in the water lay out eggs in the water in a huge number, or you can also write adult frog lay out number of eggs in the water the eggs start growing as embryo next to it tadpole, you can say larva named tadpole start emerging and this form of frog shelter under the water or you can write cling to the plants for protection. This you can write, and Next stage is external gills for breathing. For breathing, the external gills, or you can say only gills, external gills are produced and the formation, or you can say, sorry, or you can write, or the formation of gills takes place. We have covered till external gills. Next to it is there is after this the tail of tadpole become enlarged tail of tadpole becomes enlarged and the larva or developing frog takes the nutrition from the food stored in the tail. Frog takes the nutrition from the food stored in the tail. Afterwards, the limbs, that means hind limbs as well as the front legs. The limbs start to grow and as well as, sorry, we can use here as well as the tail become shorter. And now we are going to write the next stage, that is the stage close to the final stage. So for this you will make a new paragraph, that will be the third body paragraph. Finally, and the stage close to the young frog is tail becomes shorter. That means the tail started disappearing. Finally, the tail disappears. And the formation of young frog takes place, which is or you can say which look like the adult frog. This form This form experience significance growth, a significant growth and eventually become the adult frog frog and by this by this the process continues in the cyclic manner because this is a life cycle, and the process then we can say continues in a cyclic manner. This is very basic form of writing. You can enhance it by using different words. Like you can use amphibian here for the frog, and you can start the body paragraph with at the first stage. The first stage is when adult lay eggs. This you can use, and you can also use initially. Here I have used initially, and at the first stage and in the life cycle of frog, the first stage is this. Also you can write, and at the last, don't we can say forget to write. This is a cyclic process, and the cycle continues because the reproduction is necessary for the continuation of the generation or species. If there is no reproduction, the species become extinct. So this is the natural process which is occurring in our environment. And in this type of question, this is the frequently asked question in the Ielts task 1. In this type of question, first analyze the diagram. What is given here and how many steps are there, and you should clearly check the arrows, where the arrows indicating the direction, because arrows indicating the direction of the process. And in this is a cyclic process. There is not prominent start or the final stage. So from our understanding, we have to start this task. So why I have started this task from adult frog? Because we can see a number of adult frog everywhere. I think many of you haven't seen this cycle or tadpole of the frog in your lifespan. You haven't seen. I think most of the students have not seen this. So start from the stage adult frog, or you can say about the eggs. From eggs, the adult frog appears. So you can use the terms like this. And first of all, planning is must. If you will not analyze the chart or any graph or any diagram, what is given in this, you are not able to write about it. So as this is the, we can say, diagram of natural process. So the vocabulary or you can say keywords are given, which you have to mention in your task. So try this type of diagrams or processes for honeybee, for butterfly. This type of processes are natural processes. You should try it once. I hope you understood this task. So please put your efforts from your side also if you want to learn more. Thank you everyone. See you soon.